Hey, something's been bothering me. I'd like a word. Right, well, good to know I wasn't imagining it. You spend enough time with someone, you're bound to catch sight of things. Things you didn't notice at first. Maybe some things you don't care for. You and I now, we've spent a lot of time together. I've always tried to do right by you, even if I didn't agree with everything you did. Maybe it's just Aethys that's got me thinking this way, but lately I'm starting to question who I should be fighting for. And the more I see of you, the less I feel good about my choices. We're going to the same place. Don't know if I can make it without you. Not looking for one. Just trying to get the measure of you. See if I misjudged. Oh, maybe you just gave me my answer, though. You don't want to change, that's your right. I'm just telling you, I got my limits. You say that like you got no control. I don't ask much, and I want to help you. We're in this together. Just need you to respect that I'm here with you, and there's things I won't stand for. Well, I appreciate that. If you can follow through, this'll be the last time you hear of it. Well, that's what I've been telling myself. And I do want to make it to Aethys. I've got so many questions. There's no one else who can answer them. There comes a point, though, where those answers don't matter if I gave up my soul to get them. I didn't mean anything by that last part, just an expression. I used to think war showed you who a person was, what they'd do when no one was looking. Come to realize war was the problem. Living day after day in the stink of it, it changed you, before you even noticed. Well, sometimes, anyway. Some folks were bad from the start. But the pressures of what we're doing now, it's not a whole lot different. In my experience, a lot of times they were. But I knew people who fought to get back to who they were. To me, that counted for a lot. I thought you might say something like that. I told you once I wasn't sure I liked who I was fighting for. Now I know I don't. There's nothing I'm about to say that I haven't gone over in my head a dozen times. This isn't about how you treat me. It's how you treat everyone else. If that's how you feel, keep right on doing it. But good luck getting to Aethys on your own. Afraid it is. Even the worst commander I ever met, he had something decent about him, deep down. He respected his soldiers. It was enough to make folks fight for him. But you? I don't think you care much for who I am and what I value. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking for respect and consideration. It is. I've seen all I need to see. Well, at least we got that cleared up. Nah, not this time. I had plenty of time to see who you are. I haven't made any secret about what I want out of you, but I don't see much effort on my account. We're still going to the same place. You got that much on me. And there's other folk with us I don't mind helping. So I'm here long as it suits me. But no longer than that. That's not how I see it, but if that's how you feel. Nah, just practical. Maybe a little dim-witted. Nothing new there. I think that covers it. That's good. Then there won't be any surprises or hurt feelings. Don't think there's anything more needs to be said. If you told me a few years ago that I'd end up following you on another crazy errand, I'd have said you were out of your mind. Not because I got anything against you, more that trouble seems to come looking for you wherever you go. Yet, here we are again, probably on our way to die. Well, you already did, but me, I mean. All real nice of you to share. Someday I'll have to get you a gift. I was getting sick of sleeping indoors and not having any broken bones, it's true. Hey, I'm here, ain't I? Could have taken one look at that big footprint and decided on a nice long vacation in Raid Saris. And wouldn't you know it, this time is shaping up to be crazier than the last one. But I gotta say, I appreciate how you've handled things. Times like these, staying decent's not as easy as it sounds. Not that you don't have a darker side to you, but it hasn't gotten in the way. Thought you were weird at first, of course, but you've surprised me. And there's something to that. I like to think I'm the same way. Except I chose to believe in the goodness of a giant statue that kills everything it passes. Sometimes I have second thoughts about that. Well, that's why I mention it. Sometimes it's been anything but. Well, you were having a silent chat with the dead dwarf lady when I met you. Takes a special type to overlook something like that. Well, maybe it wasn't. Guess I'm just glad things have gone the way they have then. I've been meaning to ask, though. How is it you never seem to lose your way through all this? What is it tells you you're on the right path? Well, hard to argue with that. And I might get some strange looks if I did. Why didn't I think of that? Could have saved myself some trouble. Well, whatever works, I guess. I guess I'm lucky we got similar views then. Or it seems that way when it counts, anyway. Well, you're in good company then. Oh, that's quite a feat. You gotta tell me your secrets someday. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Don't know if it's right, but I bet there's less worrying. I thought it might be. Just wish it didn't have to. When I was a boy, things were simpler. Aethys was more like a character we read about in church. Now just about anything would be at this point. Yeah, I guess it was. Well, most stories had him helping folks or making the world work as it should. You pray to him, he might help you too. There was no cost to it. No confusion about his will or followers taken it to extremes. Following Aethys was right. Had no reason to question. Do you think there's any way that following him could still be the right path? After all we've seen? I suppose that's true. Not really a point in Aethys' favor, though. I guess we'll see what he has in store soon enough. If we make it that far. Is that something we can ask for? Seems like the gods might take that personal. This better be some cause for all the damage he's done. I don't think it could look much worse for him. Those old notions of him, that's all he's got in his favor now. You did, didn't you? I guess it's been on my mind a lot. Anyway, I didn't mean for this to get depressing. I think this was just a long way of saying, I appreciate the way you've guided things. Makes me feel like I'm doing some good, going with you. All this chasing after Aethys, it's brought back memories of the Saints' War. Well, wasn't important. Just how scared everyone was, mostly. Everybody put on a brave face, made all these claims about what they'd do when they met a god in battle. There was no sadder sight than a group of us talking big, trying to outdo one another. Even the fella that led us, he used to say he knew all these different ways you could kill a god, if you were so inclined. Of course, at night he'd grind his teeth so hard it sounded like he was chewing rocks, in case you were curious if he really had it in him. Oh, I bet that'll be a load off his mind. Could be he'll suck out our souls more gently as a reward. We'll probably both have some scary-looking smiles before long. See, when you say it, I'm more inclined to believe it. Or at least to believe you believe it. I wouldn't have traded them. The ones that died, most of them died brave. The ones that lived, well, they earned it. Point being, the prospect of facing a god makes cowards of most all of us. And now, here I am again, on my way to meet Aethys. Some ways I feel the same. Edgy, sick in my gut. But it's different this time. Might be because of you. We haven't gone to pieces yet, for one thing. At least not on the outside. Maybe, but you wear it well. Reckon I haven't. You could have let it all end back at Cadnua, or even Gilded Vale. But you're still going, even knowing where we're headed. Haven't forgot who you are. Maybe you're not the most genuine of souls, but you've been in the right when it's mattered. At least the way I see it. I know you're not the kindest of folks, but you've done right by me more often than not. Sure, you got a bit of a temper on you. Doesn't mean you led us wrong. There's part of me thinks we aren't going to make it out of this. When I get to thinking like that, it helps to remember how you've held together. What do you think? We gonna survive all this? There's something about that speaks to me. Maybe that's what it was I was noticing. Hey, if you died once, how bad could it be to do it again? Whether or not I believe it, I like it just the same. Well, maybe that makes it more impressive you're still at it then. I'll take that over the alternative. And I've been learning to give you the benefit of the doubt. I go back and forth myself. Every time we see one of those big footprints, it reminds me not to get too excited. There's a good chance we die out here halfway across the world from anywhere I ever called home. But if I can face it like you, maybe it doesn't matter. I mean it. Don't know where I'd be right now if you hadn't come through Gilded Vale that day. Sure, all kinds. Respect, curiosity about your watcher senses, confusion, a lot of that. That might be best. Never been real good with feelings anyway. Oh, you mean, well, I'm real fond of you, in case I wasn't clear. But in terms of stronger feelings, I only ever really think about girls that way, is the biggest part of it. And since I was old enough to chase after them. And then there's the fact that I'm still stuck on some things that happened a long time ago. I wouldn't be much good to you anyway. I haven't felt much that way about anybody in a long time. Doesn't cross my mind hardly. That's nothing to do with you. That's things I never sorted out from way back when. The lava, well, she was part of that. It's like I'm still waiting for something that was never gonna happen. Well, you're an Orlin, unless you're just real short and furry. Well, yeah. I know it's not right of me to say it, and I know you're different. Don't get me wrong. You feeling that way, if that is how you feel, that means a lot. And I hope you don't think less of me. I like what we got going here. It's closer than I've been to anyone in, I don't know, ages. Well, maybe we both got something to think about then. You gotta understand. Growing up in the Deerwood, you just didn't mix with Orlins. Didn't meet many, and when you did, a lot of times it was bad news. I never met hardly any myself, but you'd hear stories. Over time, that's what you had to go on. Knowing you now, I got two different notions of what an Orlin is, and they're both just kind of swimming around up there. I do think a lot of you. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. But even knowing it might not be right to think those things about Orlins, I can't change how I feel. Maybe in another life, you'd be the first to know. You're serious. Everything we've done together, and this is how it ends? If that's how you feel, I won't argue. Well, I don't doubt your spirit. If anyone could, it'd be you, I'm sure. You've got a funny way of relating to people. But then I always knew that. I'll tell you what, though. I'm not one for big promises. But I'm gonna beat up as many people and monsters as it takes to get you your life back. You got my word on that.